In the core of a clamoring city, there was a young fellow who appeared to have everything: an incredible work, a caring family, furthermore, an energetic public activity. However, consistently, he got himself gazing at the roof, held by an agitating inclination that something was absent. This man had staggered upon a centuries-old mystery, a way of thinking that would not just make up for the shortfall he felt, be that as it may, change his whole methodology to life's unavoidable difficulties. This mystery was aloofness, a way of thinking that instructs the specialty of bliss through the acknowledgement of what we can, what's more, have no control over. Today we're jumping profound into how unemotional standards can enable you to carry on with a more satisfied existence regardless of the bedlam that whirls around you. Go along with me as we investigate how these ageless bits of insight can assist us with developing internal harmony, flexibility, what's more, a significant sense of fulfillment in our day-to-day existences. In the event that you track down this excursion into apathy as edifying as I do, remember to buy in and help us continue to bring groundbreaking content like this directly to you. This resembles opening the entryway to a stupendous experience where each inquiry leads you more profound into the secrets of life and thought. With regards to aloofness, interest isn't just about looking for information for the good of its own, it's tied in with extending how you might interpret how to live well. The Stoics, masterminds like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, were ravenous students, not simply of reasoning, however, of their reality in individuals in it. They accepted that a curious soul could prompt more prominent insight and ideals which are the support points of apathetic satisfaction. Contemplate interest as the fire that lights the way in murkiness. Each inquiry you pose enlightens a way that many disregard, ways that lead to bits of knowledge about the intricacies of your feelings, the unfurling of occasions, what's more, your responses to them. By embracing an inquisitive mentality, you train yourself to look past surface appearances and simple responses. You challenge yourself to grasp the why and how in addition to the what. In useful terms, encouraging interest from an unemotional perspective implies effectively captivating with your everyday encounters. It's tied in with stopping in minutes of challenge or choice to ask yourself why you react in some ways and how you could answer more in arrangement with apathetic ideals like insight and moderation. It's tied in with being available and careful, noticing your general surroundings and inside you, continuously with the point of learning and developing. By supporting interest, you are not simply aggregating realities, you are building a mentality that inquiries, investigates, and mirrors. This attitude is vital since it engages you to break liberated from uninvolved acknowledgement of your conditions, pushing you towards a more dynamic and considered commitment with life. So as we dive into the insight of aloofness, recall that each piece of information procured and every knowledge acquired through interest makes you one stride nearer to an existence of satisfaction and flexibility. Continue to address, continue to investigate, and allow your interest to direct you towards the indifferent objective of carrying on with a day-to-day existence friendly with nature and reason. The Stoics accept that perusing is more than simply a method for relaxing, it's a fundamental part of sustaining the brain and soul. Seneca famously said, "We ought to chase out the accommodating bits of instructing and the energetic and respectable disapproved of adages which are fit for prompt functional application, not unrealistic or old-fashioned articulations or extreme allegories and interesting expressions, and learn them so well that words become works." At the point when you dig into various books, you're not simply engrossing data, you're uncovering yourself to various life points of view and antiquated insights that challenge your biases and widen how you might interpret the world. For an emotionless, this training is basic since it encourages insight and excellence, center fundamentals of apathy. Each new piece of information helps shape your personality, directing you toward carrying on with a day-to-day existence lined up with reason and ethicalness. Envision how wide perusing can change your day-to-day connections and choices by getting at various perspectives and verifiable settings. You can explore current challenges with more prominent knowledge and sympathy. For instance, perusing about how authentic figures managed affliction can furnish you with techniques to deal with your own difficulties all the more actually. This is together as one with the emotionless activity of turning philosophical perusing into useful activities. Besides, the demonstration of understanding itself develops mental discipline and persistence, characteristics each in different endeavors to consummate. It expects you to dial back, reflect, and connect profoundly with the material, similar to the unemotional practice of care. This not just moves along your focus yet additionally improves your capacity to zero in on the current second, pursuing insightful choices instead of reacting indiscreetly. Embrace an understanding rundown as different as the world's library can offer, from theory and science to writing and history. Every kind opens new entryways of understanding, adds layers to your scholarly establishment, empowering you to move toward life's intricacies with a balanced viewpoint. This propensity established in emotionless practice guarantees that your way to self-improvement and edification is both expansive and profoundly educated. As you turn each page, recall that you are strolling in the strides of the Stoics, utilizing perusing as an instrument to fabricate a versatile and high-minded life. That's what the Stoics grasped. Our personality is fashioned in the fire of our encounters, and by taking on a development outlook, we position ourselves to extend our ideals and intelligence through each period of life. In aloofness, the development attitude is about something other than endeavoring for self-awareness. It's about perceiving that each hindrance we experience is an opportunity to rehearse ethics like versatility, persistence, and backbone. Epictetus broadly said, "It's not what befalls you, in any case, how you respond to it that is important." This exemplifies the emotionless methodology to embracing a development mentality, zeroing in on our reactions to life's hardships as opposed to the hardships themselves. Ponder when you face a mishap or a disappointment. The average reaction may be disappointment or demoralization. However, according to an unemotional point of view, this second is a vital learning and open door. Asking yourself, what can this instruct me? How might I answer better later on? This isn't just about looking for a silver lining yet, additionally, effectively mining each experience for bits of knowledge that can prompt self-awareness. Furthermore, keeping a development attitude includes a responsibility to persistent learning, not simply in the scholastic sense, yet in the more extensive extent of life. It implies being available to criticism, ready to explain suppositions, and prepared to change your methodology. This adjusts with the emotionless act of everyday self-assessment, where the concentration is on evaluating our activities and responses to guarantee they line up with our qualities and the ethics we try to encapsulate. Taking on this outlook doesn't mean overlooking feelings or imagining that misfortunes are lovely. Rather, it includes a significant change in context, seeing life as a ceaseless excursion of personal growth where each challenge is a stage on the way to turning into a savvier, more righteous individual. Along these lines, a development mentality isn't simply a device for self-awareness, it's a pathway to quietness and fulfillment, which the Stoics held as a definitive objective of life. So as you go through your everyday exercises, attempt to see each insight from the perspective of development. Consider yourself to be a deep-rooted understudy in the huge school of life, where every example is pivotal for your turn of events. Keep an intelligent diary, examine your experiences with others, and consistently ask yourself what each experience is attempting to educate you. Along these lines, you turn the conventional into open doors for remarkable self-improvement. The emotionless rationalists, like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, frequently stressed the significance of being available to novel thoughts and encounters as a way to develop insight and excellence. They trusted that an adaptable psyche is better prepared to manage the flighty nature of life and can prompt further understanding and harmony. Envision how a stream streams around deterrence in its way, not through force but rather by smoothly tracking down new routes. Similarly, keeping a receptive outlook permits us to explore life's difficulties all the more successfully. It includes a readiness to rethink our assumptions and inclinations, a status to retain new data, and the versatility to adjust points of view in light of new proof or contentions. This doesn't mean leaving one's qualities or convictions. Perhaps it's tied in with improving and conceivably changing them, considering further understanding. In reasonable terms, an emotionless applies this transparency by effectively searching out contrasting perspectives. This could be through partaking in discussions with individuals whose life encounters and convictions contrast from their own, or through perusing and uncovering oneself to assorted societies and methods of reasoning. The critical here isn't simply to tune in or peruse, but rather to think about these points of view, gauging them against one's own contemplations and potentially coordinating them into one's perspective. Besides, keeping an open and prepared mind implies being ready to address and fundamentally assess even our most loved convictions. It's tied in with utilizing reason and decisive reasoning to examine the legitimacy and rationale behind our viewpoints and activities. This indifferent practice not just forestalls unyieldingness, yet additionally cultivates a more nuanced and exhaustive comprehension of life. At last, this transparency broadens to our close-to-home encounters too. Stoics endeavor to approach their feelings with interest and receptiveness, inspecting what these sentiments can educate them about their qualities and responses. Thusly, they can more readily make do with these feelings in accordance with unemotional excellencies, involving them as instruments for individual and moral development instead of being driven by them indiscreetly. As you move through your everyday existence, attempt to typify this unemotional ideal by keeping your psyche open and prepared. Challenge yourself to learn something new ordinary, to be interested about the new, and to be modest notwithstanding tremendous and fluctuated human information and experience. This apathetic practice not just improves your existence with astuteness, but in addition adjusts you to a universe that is continually developing and unfurling.